Hi there guys, and welcome back once again to the channel. So in today's episode, we're back once again on the Mk6 Fiesta and we're tackling another problem that has developed. So you may remember from a previous episode where myself and Reggie replaced the disc and pads on the driver's front wheel. Now in that video, I didn't get round to doing the passenger's front, but I did have a go at trying to do it the following day. Now unfortunately, whilst I was trying to compress the piston in the caliper in order for me to be able to put the new pads in, the piston just was not compressing. So there's obviously some issues with it, and it's a case of trying to now get that swapped over and fit a replacement. That's going nowhere. So I've been on eBay. We've got ourselves a second-hand one that's inside this package. So we'll get it stripped open and hopefully we'll get it fitted. Hope you enjoy the video. Let's get straight into it. But before we do anything, I'm going to check, of course, to see if this caliper is fit for purpose. Certainly very well packaged. One second-hand caliper. Now before I start messing about taking the old one back off again, what I'm going to do first of all is we're going to do a compression of the piston, because of course if this one doesn't depress, it's no better off than the one that's still on the car. So we've got the retaining clip to remove first, like that. There's one pad, and there's two. To be fair, they look pretty good. Might keep hold of them as spares, but I'm still going to fit the new ones that we've obviously bought. So put the socket into there first, get the G-clamp, wind it onto the back and onto the piston. I think this could be quite messy because I think there might still be a bit of brake fluid in this, so put that in there like that, in case any squirts out. Just wind that, see if it goes in. Seems to be. It's looking good. Take it back off. Yeah, you can see it's a bit wet there, look, with the fluid, so there was some that came out. Yeah, it's there, look at that. That's a good sign, because it means it's depressing, and I mean depressing in a good way. Right, let's get the old one back off. Right then, so as you can see, look, I've put this caliper back on very loosely, but the reason why I've put it back is quite simple. It's because of this nut that's on the end of this flexible brake pipe. Now, I'm conscious that this nut is probably going to be a bit tricky to get off, and if it's going to be like in that position where it's completely off the car, trying to hold it in place, trying to keep it steady whilst trying to undo that brake pipe nut is going to be difficult. So whilst this is still, albeit loose, it's still anchored to the car, it should make it easier for me to crack that nut. Right, so it's an 11mm nut. Now all I want to do, remember, is I just want to crack it. I don't want to actually undo it completely, I just want to crack it. There we go, just like that. That's all I want to do, and that way it'll be a lot easier to just unwind it when it's fully off the car. So on the off chance if you haven't seen the video where I did the driver's front disc and pads, when I was taking the caliper and the carrier apart, there were a couple of these plastic caps to remove, the two slider bolts in order to separate the two parts, and then to get the carrier off we've got the two 13mm bolts that are on the back. Now because the second-hand caliper that I've purchased has got a carrier with it, I'm just going to leave it on there. So all I'm going to do in this instance is just remove the two 13mm bolts on the back, take the entire assembly off in one go, and then hang this up on the top of the suspension leg using the bungee cord. Off she comes. Sorted. So what we now need to do is to remove the nut that's on the end of what's left of this brake hose that got cut off the donor car, because of course we need to be connecting this pipe onto it that's still attached to the knackered carrier. I'm just hoping that this one's going to be easy to remove. If it's not, it might be a case of that I'm going to have to affix it somewhat to the car to give it some sort of purchase. Let's see how kind this will be. Oh, surprising. I thought it was going to be tougher than that. That's that off. So yeah, you can see, look, there's still a little bit of fluid still left in the bottom of the caliper, which I'm not surprised about. Right, okay, so I've learned a mistake that I made when I was replacing the caliper on the Jag, is that I can't untwist this from the caliper, because all that's going to happen, because it's still connected at this end up here, all that's going to happen is it's just going to kink and twist round and won't undo properly. So what I've actually got to do is I've got to untwist the entire caliper and caliper cradle assembly from the pipe rather than the pipe from the assembly. So this is going to be a little bit difficult because of course you're trying to manhandle something that's pretty heavy. Now speed is going to be of the essence, because what I want to do is of course get the new caliper on fairly quickly so that I'm not losing too much brake fluid. But I'm conscious, of course, that this is potentially going to get quite messy, so got myself a bucket which I'll chuck underneath, and any drips will get caught in there. So we're going to get the bungee cord off first, untwist this, take it off, fit the new one as quick as possible, twist it back up, and hopefully we'll be in business. Get that out of the way first. Right, so untwist the entire assembly like that. That's the pad, it doesn't matter, that's going in anyway into the new one. So as I say, this is where we've got to be quick. Put the knackered caliper in the bucket, see how well this goes, and then we're twisting this one onto the pipe. You can see the drips coming out already, look. It's not easy because of course you've got to line the threads up, but it looks as if we're going good. I've just got to be careful that I don't damage the pipe in this process, and that we should be able to do up nicely once the entire assembly is then attached onto the hub. That was relatively pain-free. Just get the 11mm spanner onto this just to tighten it to some degree, because I don't want to lose any unnecessary fluid. And obviously we'll do it properly when it's secured properly onto the hub. Right, so the next task is to put the new pads into the replacement caliper. So the first one here, this front one, that's going to be relatively easy to just slot into the holes like that. It's fairly straightforward. But before we fit that one, we've got to fit this one, and of course these three prongs need to go in the hole in the piston. Just got to watch my fingers. There we go. And then we just got to then fit this one in the front, which is, as you can see, pretty easy. Right, so now we've got to swap over the brake disc. Now I got slated quite rightly the last time I did a front disc and pad change for not removing the oil film that's on the disc. So I've got myself some brake cleaner and I'm going to get shot of this now. Hope you're happy. See if this fits over. Looking good. So I'm now just going to hand tight the 13mm bolts just to secure this properly. Now, because I don't know how tight the slider bolts are going to be, I'm going to check them. Now, it looks as if this one has got a cap missing, but that one's there. So we'll get this one off first, like that, and we'll put a Allen key into these just to be sure that they are tight. That one's good. Don't obviously want to over tighten them. Yep, both good. And then put that cap on the top one first, and then I've just nicked the one off the old caliper to put on the bottom. And then the last job is I just want to just do that double tightening of this brake pipe. It's looking good. I better check the brake fluid in the reservoir. Now I didn't lose a lot of fluid really. Ever so slightly down, so I think we'll give it a little top up. Trusty dot 4. Right, so that we can now get the brake pads on this passenger front wheel lined up with the disc, we now need to give the brake pedal a bit of a pump.
fantastic. That's nice and solid now, so that's really good. Right, so before we put the wheel back on, what I am going to do is I'm going to play things safe. Now, I didn't lose too much fluid, I don't think, when I did swap these calipers over, but I think it makes sense to do a quick bleed of the brakes on this caliper, just to play safe. So what we're going to do is we're going to use my ingenious little gadget that I made out of the spray bottle nozzle out of an old cleaning bottle and a bit of spare pipe. We're going to connect that to this bleed nipple and see what air, if there is any, trapped in the system.
It's a 9mm spanner this. Let's see how easy this loosens. Yeah, that's loosened nicely, that's good. Put the pipe over. Right, so that's that secured. Let's spray. I doubt that there is going to be a lot of air in this. Yeah, there's a lot of fluid coming out. I think we're okay, so we'll tighten this back up again. Quick check of this again. Down ever so slightly, so we'll do another quick top up. Fantastic. Right, let's get the wheel back on. Nearly forgot to put the retaining pin back first. Right then. Oh. Battery's flat. Right. Why am I always having to be rescued? I thought I had enough momentum to do a bump start in reverse. I didn't. Right, let's hope this works. Yes, excellent. Let's get the cables back off. Just noticed the back tyre's flat as well, so I'm going to have to pump that up. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to use that Fiesta because the cigarette lighter in this one doesn't work. Cars. Who'd have them? Right, now we can finally go out and test this thing. Let's see what the brakes are like. Heavy brake to this junction. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Right then, okay, I think we've cracked this job as well. Fantastic. Right, okay, so we'll wrap the video up there then, guys. So before we finish, just want to pass on thanks to Green Cars Before Us on eBay. Thank you very much for the caliper, really appreciate it. It was very cheap, it was delivered very, very fast, and it seems to have done the job as well. So massive thanks to you guys for that. And I thought I'd do a quick mention to Sutton Auto Factors once again, because of course in today's video I've been able to fit the other disc and the other set of pads. So to you guys as well, thank you very much. Right, so if you did like this video, do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Any comments you want to put forward will of course be greatly appreciated. Social media platform details as ever, and my email address in the description below, so just have a check of that. And if you'd like to give myself and Reggie some support with our YouTube channel, then please do hit that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate all your support. Of course, it does go a long way in helping us out. Right, so let's see if this car will start again, because of course I needed to jump start it using the other car. We'll switch it off. Let's see if it starts again. It does, so all being well, hopefully the battery is not on the way out and we should be good. Right, okay then, so until next time guys, thank you so much for tuning in and giving us your continued support as ever, and we shall see you very soon in the next episode. Take care yourselves, cheers now, bye bye.